Hello and welcome. Let's just take a quiet moment together to look at a feeling that I think so many of us know, maybe a little too well. We're going to gently explore the hidden logic behind being a people pleaser. Let's get started.
Right? This question probably hits pretty close to home. It's that sinking feeling in your stomach when you hear yourself agreeing to something while every part of you is just screaming, no. If that sounds familiar, I just want you to know you are definitely not alone. And there's a really good reason your brain does this.
And this is the heart of what we're going to unpack today. See, this isn't about you being too nice or not having a backbone. Not at all. What looks like simple kindness on the outside is often something much deeper. A really clever, protective strategy that your mind came up with a long time ago, just to keep you safe.
So, let's start right here, in the present. Let's just acknowledge that feeling. That moment where the word no just feels completely impossible to get out.
You know, the goal here isn't to judge this part of yourself or try to fix it. It's actually to get curious about it, to approach it with some compassion. Once we really understand why it's happening, we can start to see it not as some kind of character flaw, but as a part of your story that really deserves to be understood. Okay, so now let's gently travel back in time a bit. Because to really get why saying no feels so threatening now, we kind of have to look at where this whole pattern started. And for so many of us, that's in our childhood.
There's a term for this. It's called a low-maintenance adaptation. And it's such a profound idea. It basically means that, as a kid, you might have learned that the safest way to get by in a stressful or chaotic home was just to be easy, to become as small and agreeable as possible. You learned that having needs could rock the boat, so you learned not to have them.
To put it really simply, the message you got loud and clear was this. Your silence, your cooperation, that was your shield. That's what protected you in a world where your real needs might have just felt like too much for the people around you. And this is exactly how our brains wire themselves. Your mind just created a simple, powerful equation. If I'm helpful, I get approval. If I'm quiet, things stay calm. And the flip side of that coin, disappointing someone felt like it could literally mean losing love or even losing your sense of safety. And that is such a heavy burden for a little kid to carry. So that was then. But here's the thing. That child and their survival strategies are absolutely still with us, and they echo so loudly in our adult lives. Let's take a look at how that old pattern shows up today. And this creates this huge gap, right? On the outside, you're the go-to person, the helper, the one who keeps the peace. But on the inside, well, there's a real cost. You're constantly pushing your own needs down. You're terrified of being truly seen, of being vulnerable. And the irony is, even when you're surrounded by people you're helping, you can end up feeling completely and utterly alone.
This is what you could call a vulnerability block. See, real, true connection, that happens when we can show up as our whole selves, with our needs, our messy bits, our imperfections. By always being stuck in the role of the capable helper, you're accidentally keeping everyone at arm's length because they never get to meet the real you.
So this brings us right to the heart of it all. If we gently start to peel back all those layers of people-pleasing, what's the core emotion we find at the center? What is it that we're actually so afraid of? For almost everyone, it comes down to this: a deep, really visceral fear of conflict. For someone with this pattern, conflict doesn't just feel awkward. It can feel like an existential threat, like your very survival is on the line. And that fear, it often shows up as this immediate internalized guilt. The second there's a hint of conflict, the automatic thought is, what did I do wrong? The very idea of saying, hey, my needs matter too, feels incredibly selfish and dangerous. Because you learned, a long time ago, that your needs could be the very thing that sparks rejection. And what's so fascinating is, it's not just about negative emotions. Think about anyone you know who just cringes when people sing happy birthday to them. It's not really about the song, is it? It's about that sudden, intense spotlight of emotion. Conflict creates that exact same kind of intensity, and your nervous system just goes into overload, wanting it to stop no matter what. Okay, so we've traced the feeling, we've found its roots, and we've named the fear at its core. Now for the most important part of all, changing how we see this. It is time for a reframe. So if you hear nothing else, please hear this. Your people-pleasing is not a weakness. It's not a flaw. It was a brilliant, creative, and necessary strategy that a much younger version of you came up with to survive a difficult world. It's a sign of your intelligence. It kept you safe. Just think about the journey we've just taken together.
You recognized a feeling in your life right now, you connected it to a past experience, you put a name to that deep fear, and now you can look at this whole pattern with compassion and see the smart survival logic that's been running the show. You can actually thank that part of yourself for working so hard to protect you for so long.
And that brings us right here. The real work isn't about getting rid of the people pleaser. It's about integrating it with kindness. Now that you understand where it came from, maybe the question can change. It's no longer about forcing yourself to say no. It's about gently, quietly asking yourself, what is one small, true yes that I can give myself today?